like to start with the Executive General Manager's report, now that I have a functional mic.
There you go, even though you're a Steelers fan. Okay. Just okay, welcome. Happy Thanksgiving in advance to everyone. Good evening or good afternoon, late afternoon as we start this meeting. Tammy Morgan is on vacation, so Jason and I will be trying to take her place. Does that mean two guys trying to take the place of one woman? Well, that's okay. That's good luck. Thank you. I appreciate that. So with that, I'm going to tailor my PowerPoint presentation to just a couple of topics so we can get that going. There we go. Moving right along, there'll be two topics talking today about the financial review and then legal cases. Now you might think, well, what are those legal cases, Chris? Well, every year, and even if you're a real estate broker or an agent, you want to know what pending litigation matters are affecting the association. So I will be giving some updates, and then this will be reported online. So let's begin. Start off with financial information. So what you see here, this is, I can't remember what page, I think it's page 15 or 16 of your financial packet. This is the activity of all three pieces of the amenity, what do they call it? Three legs of the stool: HOA operations, food and beverage, and golf course. And you can see for the month of October, we've had a big reversal from our trends that we were seeing. Specifically, HOA and golf course have rebounded, while food and beverage is still struggling. And so let's go into, I just made some quick charts for it. Making sure you see it up there. Perfect. So some of the areas, concerning areas that I've talked about in the past is the accounts receivable balance. That's, if I can get the light, oh, it doesn't show up on the screen. Oh, well. The right side chart is accounts receivable total. And you can see starting from about February onward that it has been increasing. This is a concern. This reflects delinquency increases affecting the association. That's okay. We'll just go off. We'll go live. Common area water has been high as well. This is an area where we are looking at Mark Schleiden and artistic maintenance, addressing some of the things that have been going on in common area. Make sure we stay on top of the sprinklers, the little emitters. But we did use a lot more water as it was warmer in Q3 than it has been in prior year. That's what the blue line on the left. In the chart on the left, the blue line is 2024. 2023's activity is in red. And you can see there has been more water usage in 2024. Now, moving on. So let's look at the revenues, give you an update on where we're at with social membership. These are the fees that are paid when new homeowners buy a home in the community. They pay the $950 social membership fee. We had budgeted to have a higher amount of homes sold. Unfortunately, they have been lagging. So has the rest of the country. But we still have a rebound in October as we've seen more homes sell compared to September. Overall, though, our budget, we've been under budget on that, and that has affected revenue. The other chart to your right, again, talking about events. We had planned a lot of events in 2023, and I've talked about this at other meetings, that we've just had the inability to use either the ballroom or other areas because either a club event or some other event has taken place. That will be addressed in the 2025 budget, and it will be something that we're going to be looking at for 2026. And these show what type of comedy shows, what other events can recreation hold as a benefit for the entire community. That's something we'll be looking at in next year's budget preparation. So the first leg is, this is just a little chart, April to October, comparing the HOA operations as a whole, the actual, I'll take that, go ahead. Yeah, no Tammy here, I've got to take those. It's all good. So for April, May through October, the blue is the actual expenses versus revenues, the net, versus the budget. And you can see there was a rebound in October. Part of that's dealing with compensated absences, and that's a reminder of those are absences that as Jason is working, he accrues vacation, and that is a liability that we accrue. We hit the expense, we increase the liability. Then when Jason takes vacation, that we reverse that accrual because he's actually using those vacation hours. And I've talked about this for the last couple of months, that this would be a trend of people not taking vacation because it's busy, not enough time to go on vacation, but then during the holidays, they'll start to use it. We've seen that reversal in October, and that helped with the HOA operations. Then moving on to food and beverage. Now this is the area we're still struggling with looking at April through October. Still, the overall subsidy has been higher than planned. Now again, this was a alignment. The budget was aligned to only have a closure of the restaurant and the lounge for 4 months, when actuality it turned out to be close to 10 months. So that has affected the operation. You can see that as we want those gray bars on the far right to be higher, the variance to be less. Now, moving on to the next chart, which is actual food revenue has underperformed the last 9 months. That's your chart on the left. What it is in blue is that's the actual food revenue that we've earned. The blue is the budget, and then the yellow is the variance. And you can see since February through October, we've been having a negative variance, meaning that what we had projected that we would have in food revenues, we have not been able to meet that. Now in the bar on the other side, you look on the right, the bar has performed pretty good in October, August, February. There was some variances in the 6 months of March, April, May, June, July, and September. Again, the new lounge opened October 28th, so the timing of when the budget was developed in 2023 versus with the actual construction project, there was a kind of a misalignment, and now we're going to dig our way out of that is our goal. Moving on to another area, which is, there we go, make sure cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold has still been an area that we need to improve. New menu rolled out October 28th, but again, we're still having, you see that on the left, the restaurant cost of goods sold. We have done some good during the summer months, but then again, we swung backwards in October. The bar cost of goods sold have been good, but on October, there was a downturn as well. Now, talking with Angel and the food and beverage group over there, believe that there was an issue with items that were purchased but not received, may have been counted. This will be addressed in the next financials for November. Now, overall, though, at the bottom, there's a little item there. It says actual, so the actual restaurant sales, cost of goods sold, compared to the budget, we'd budgeted about 30.1% cost of goods sold rate, but we've actually been hitting at 55. Again, this is an area that we need to improve at. There's a variance right now of 25.7. This is year-to-date through October. Now, labor is another area that has been high compared to sales. Now, labor needs to be shifted to the lounge as we have now expanded the bar. There's going to be more bartenders utilized there. And so you see in the charts there, the one on the left is the restaurant labor and the one on the right is the bar labor. And what has happened is there are more bartenders, and they're classified as bartenders, being used more than we had planned. That's what's throwing off the budget. But overall, when you compare the overall labor compared to sales, we had budgeted 80.3% through the end of October. We're still high. We're still hitting at 98.9%. This is an item, again, we have more labor than revenue that we're earning. So they're either you have to earn more of revenue or cut back on the cost of labor, meaning you remove some bodies from shifts. Now, this is the golf course amenity. Perfect. A turnaround in October. And so what is one of the main drivers that happened? We were behind. Water was one of the biggest things, is also labor. But then Mark Birchfield's team started taking vacations. That turns the liability for accrued vacation or compensated absences. We get to reverse that. And also we had a change in water. And that's on the right chart up there. So what happened? Why did water go negative in October? Now the billing through the city is sometimes delayed, and we have to do what's called estimates or accruals, meaning we think the water usage and dollar amount is going to be X, because I don't have a bill, I have to use historical trends. And since the city was delayed in billing some of our, and it is the largest, golf course is the largest user of water here, then we had to make, we didn't receive the bills, we had to make estimates. And so that was estimating high. And then when the bill came in for October and September, compared to what we had estimated, was far less. So what this does is that means I've overestimated our expenses for water usage on the golf course and had to correct that in October. Now, there's a little numbers underneath it, say through October, we've spent about $840,000, October 2024. Through October 23, we'd spent about $763,000. There's some price changes, the prices change year over year, and some usage changes, but nonetheless, we're still expecting our water usage overall for the year to be higher than 2023. Now, on the other side of the chart is golf rounds, and this has been trending up. That's a positive for usage of the course, revenue generation. Through the October, golf rounds were about, for the championship, over 24,000, for the exec, over 15,000. Compared to 2023, for the entire year of 2023, championship was 28,933 in 2023. Well, we're at 24, and we still had 2 more months, so we probably will hit that same mark of 2023. For the executive, we had 16,619 for 2023, and we're, as it points out, is 15,280. We'll reach that amount. So year over year, we're kind of the same trend of golf rounds. So that's my quick update with charts. I hope to continue moving more to charts instead of narratives. Now let's talk about what everyone came to see, I'm sure, or not. Litigation update. So again, this is something that legal counsel for the association, the attorney that works for the board, not a first service attorney, goes through and sees what active litigation, and then creates a memo that will be put on the website so all the members can see. And then also, this is also asked by when homes are selling, are there any pending litigation matters that we need to be aware of? This is part of the escrow process. They'll get a copy of this. So I wanted to review the 3 cases that we have going on. So first, we have Christopher Prastitis versus Sun Lakes, it's First Service Residential, and also included is the Master Association, which is Sun Lakes, and then the sub-association, which Lakeside 2, as well as individual board members of that. And I'm going to read, and after this meeting, you can go online. I think Enan will upload this by tomorrow or tonight maybe, but I'll give you a summation of what that is. On August 28th, 2024, a complaint was filed against agents of the Sun Lakes Country Club Homeowners Association, Master Association, and others by plaintiff Christopher Prastitis. The summons in the case was issued on October 2nd, 2024. The association became aware of the complaint in October 2024. Plaintiff Prastitis purports to assert 31 different causes of action in the case, none of which are separately pleaded. The plaintiff alleges that approximately a dozen defendants who are agents of the Master Association or Lakeside 2, this is board members, First Service staff, failed to perform ethically, morally, legally, and in a workmanlike professional manner. Sun Lakes Country Club Homeowners Association has certain duties to indemnify and or defend claims against its agents pursuant to contract, Corporations Code Section 7237, and or the governing documents, Section 6.04 of the Declarations, CC&Rs, recorded April 10th, 1987. Accordingly, the allegations in this lawsuit affect the Master Association, its insurability, its insurance premiums, and otherwise. The Master Association may be required to defend, indemnify against claims not covered by insurance at Master Association expense. To the extent that the complaint in this action alleges wrongdoing by agents on behalf of the Master Association, the Master Association denies any liability in that regard. This matter has been tendered to the Master Association's liability insurance carrier, which is defending Master Association agents. No trial or dispositive disposition or hearing date has been set in this case. Number 2, Carolyn Miller versus Sun Lakes Country Club Homeowners Association, and there is the court case if you want to look it up yourself. On September 10th, 2024, a complaint was filed against the association by plaintiff Carolyn Miller alleging general negligence and premises liability. The plaintiff asserts that on September 26, 2023, she tripped and fell on a parking lot curb, which was in a dangerous condition. The association denies any liability to the plaintiff. The association is being defended in this case by its liability insurance carrier. No trial or dispositive hearing date has been set in the case. And the last one, Zola versus Sun Lakes Country Club HOA. On October 23rd, 2024, a complaint was filed by plaintiff Todd Robert Zola. The plaintiff alleges premises liability, general negligence, vicarious liability, and negligent hiring, retention, and supervision. Plaintiff claims that on May 27, 2023, he tripped and fell on a sidewalk which was allegedly in a dangerous condition. The association denies any liability to the plaintiff. The association is being defended in the case by its liability insurance carrier. No trial or dispositive hearing date, I'm going to have to get that better, has been set in this case. In conclusion, the association's directors, officers, and managers have been advised not to comment on pending litigation other than this disclosure. The association will provide update disclosures, memoranda as circumstances warrant. That completes the general manager's update, Mr. President.
Thank you. Next is the executive session action.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone. This report will give the community an update on actions that were taken by the board at their executive session meetings that were held on November 18th and November 20th, at which time litigation, member discipline, formation of contracts, and personal matters were discussed. With member matters, the board reviewed 1 member request for a fee waiver. The board reviewed 2 requests for a payment plan. The board approved the F&B and golf receivables as of October 31st, as well as the assessment account receivables as of October 31st, 2024. The board approved the delinquency report. The board reviewed 1 show cause hearing. The board reviewed a variance request. The board reviewed 1 MAC appeal. The board reviewed 2 requests for a golf refund, and the board interviewed members for the Finance Advisory Committee and the Master Architectural Committee. With legal, the board reviewed and approved the executive session minutes from September 25th and October 9th. And the board received several updates from legal, and the board approved to proceed with the foreclosure on APN 440-151-019. Formation of contracts. The board received updates from the management companies on several items. The board met with the regional director, Nico Siros from Securitas, and approved the 2025 property protection contract. The board discussed the progress on the F&B RFP. The board received and filed the project activity report. The board received and filed the investment activity report. And the board received and filed the October turnover report. The board reviewed and approved the October to November narrative and analytic reports from Securitas, and both of these will be placed on the website. The board approved the replacement of the radio antennas on the water tower and over the ballroom at the request from EPAP. This will be funded from the Repair and Replace Fund. And the board approved replacing and upgrading the association's server. This will be funded again from the Repair and Replacement Fund. The board reviewed 5 proposals for road work and has approved J.B. Bostic to complete this work. And finally, the board is still working with Spectrum on their negotiations on a bulk cable agreement. And that completes the executive session actions reports.
Thank you. Any sub-association reports? If not, district delegate?
Good afternoon. My name is Cal Martin, and I am here to speak on behalf of the Delegate Assembly. It can seem sometimes when you're involved in some of these committees that there's a lot said, a lot of time invested, and something just needs to get done, and it never seems to move forward, at least at the pace you want it to. I thought since we're not going to have a board meeting next month that I would kind of review what we've been able to do since the month of May, kind of our greatest hits. After May, we have created a rules committee. That rules committee went on to write our standing rules. The Assembly then reviewed those rules and adopted them. They are now in practice, and they attached the adopted document was added to all delegate handbooks. We created an affairs committee. The affairs committee went on to write our code of conduct and ethics. The Assembly then reviewed those documents a few times and finally adopted it, and it is now part of our normal practice and rules at the Assembly. That document was also added into the delegate handbook. The entire contents of the previous handbook have been updated or removed and expanded. This was accomplished by the Rules Committee. We started having monthly workshops for all the delegates and their alternates, where we've gotten a lot of good ideas and a lot of participation, which is very much appreciated. And we have a monthly newsletter that's sent out solely for district delegates. And that's kind of what we've been doing. So we're kind of headed on the same course going into the new year, but won't know anything, of course, until January. But thank you, that's it.
Thank you. Next is the pass action report. Randy?
Thank you, Bob. I'll just make it short and sweet today. As many of you know, we had a town hall here last Sunday, and the Banning Point project at this time is completely denied by the city, and the developers do have the opportunity to file for a writ of mandate in Superior Court, which to our knowledge they have not done yet. They have until approximately January 6th. So at this point, this is going to be the last report from the Pass Action Group at this body. So thank you.
Thank you. That's great news. Next is the City of Banning.
Good afternoon. As you all know, the election is finally over. Aren't we all relieved? I know I am. And all those signs are gone. So wonderful. So I just want to thank everyone who voted for me. I am going to be so proud to get to represent you for another 4 years. There's going to be a lot of positive changes made in the city of Banning. A lot of new changes are coming. And I'll give just a brief result of the elections results. Leroy Miller is ahead 41 to 34% against Alberto Sanchez, and he will probably hold that seat for District 1. District 4, Richard Royce is ahead 57% to 43% against David Happy. Sidney Barrington, this is a squeaker. There's only 30 votes between them. Cindy Barrington has 699 and Miriam Ramirez has 669. And so it's 51 to 48.9%. So every day at 6 p.m., we're all on pins and needles looking to see that doesn't change or goes up for her. For myself, 69%, Debbie Robbins, 31%. So that I will be reelected for another 4 years. Actually, I was only 2 years for a recall, now I'm 4 years. So I'm very much looking forward to positive changes. You're gonna see Banning go forward. And we are all very excited. The 4 for Banning appears to be doing a clean sweep, and look forward to things in the future. Also, for treasurer, Sue Savage, our own Sue Savage here, is 55 to 45% against Kula Ringgold, and that is a very good thing, and congratulations, Sue. Also, the Planning Commission has 3 openings. 2 are for 1 year until January 2025. 1 is for 3 years until January 2027. The other 2 will continue until January 2027. Please apply. There are 3 openings. We need people who have knowledge about planning and building and zoning. It's district-wide. You don't have to be in a certain district to apply. You can go online and apply there, and you have to apply by November 29th. It will come in front of the city council, possibly December 10th, probably January 14th, and then we will pick 3 new planning commissioners. Also, Sunset Crossroads has been delayed. They did not have a quorum for the Planning Commission. Because Leroy Miller is now going to be on the council. He resigned yesterday. And Sunset Crossroads will not be addressed again until after January with the new council. Last night I was on Budget and Finance, and we are going to move forward with an independent outside forensic audit. Yes. Also, there is on December 7th, Saturday, December 7th, there's a cowboy Christmas parade. It's going to be downtown. There will be a Christmas tree lighting ceremony, Santa, snow, crafts, vendors. It's from 4 to 8 p.m. The next city council meeting will be December 10th, and at that council meeting, the new council members will be seated. Also, a mayor and a mayor pro tem will be elected. And then our next full meeting will be, with the new council, will be January 14th, because we go dark until January 14th. And I hope that all of you have a blessed Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas. And again, thank you all for your support. So appreciated.
Thank you. Next is the Bingo Advisory Committee. Common area.
Just a brief statement. As you know, we do an inspection of all of our facilities every month, but we only do it once a month. So if any of you people out there who are walking around seeing things, if you see anything that's any wrong, you can contact operations if you'd like. You can contact me. I've been getting lots of phone calls, and there are little things that we miss or didn't get taken care of, and I appreciate all those calls because we can get those taken care of, and then we can live in a happier place. Thank you.
Thank you. EPAP.
Candace Jenkins for EPAP. Last month, I talked about lessons that we learned from the drill. This month, I will talk about the corrective action plans for the areas that did not meet our expectations. We recommended that the zone captains update their resident list with cell phone numbers. These cell phone numbers should be put in their phones for easy access to text when needed. EPAP coordinators need to update their zone captains when they receive the new resident list from Fabian. For the texting issues that we have decided to add texting to our monthly radio check-ins. We will text the EPAP coordinators a few minutes before our regular radio check-ins. The coordinators will let us know if they have received our texts when they check in. We also are working on a third-party texting app that will allow us to send out one text to a mass number of recipients. We continue to work on and update the EOC because Banning does not currently have an operational EOC. The Spark, which is the San Gorgonio Pass Amateur Radio Club, is operating their radios in any emergency. The Securitas using the same channel as the EOC. New radio repeaters will be installed. The administration, Securitas Recreation, and 5 other groups will use the new digital radio systems. Each group will have their own separate channels. The last corrective action plan is for the current radios not being able to reach all of the Sun Lakes. We're looking into options that will solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance Advisory Committee. Gotcha. And Michael's on deck.
Good afternoon, Master Board and management team and residents. My name is Mary Jo McElwain, and I am chairman of the Finance Advisory Committee. Our Finance Committee charter gives the committee the responsibility of reviewing the monthly financials and identifying for the board trends and significant variances. At today's committee meeting, we discussed some of the significant issues of the October financial statement. Some of the accounts which need further details are the accrued vacation, greenbelt allocation, inventory and invoice procedures documentation, and the process for utility bill accrual. Questions will be sent to the board and management team on these accounts, and in addition, we will also ask the board to approve a review of some of the balance sheet accounts and the process of the collections of assets. In January, with our annual yearly report, we will provide the board with the investment earnings rate, labor summaries, and significant contract expense summaries. Again, our committee is here to gather the financial information that the board needs so that they are well positioned with the information to make good business decisions. Residents are welcome to attend our meetings, and the next one is scheduled for December 18th at 2 p.m. in the multipurpose room. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, do you want
Mike,
to talk?
Golf Advisory?
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Callahan, Chairman of the Golf Advisory Committee. The GAC would like to thank the Master Board for their support of golf operations over the last year. At the beginning of 2024, the board approved purchase of new equipment for the golf maintenance that included several utility carts, mowers, and an additional rough mower. Many of these purchases replaced equipment that was over 10 years old. In the spring, several cart path sections on the executive course were replaced according to a priority list of areas posing the greatest safety risk for trip and falls. Throughout the year, integrity arborists have been busy trimming trees that has improved the look of the golf course and greatly reduced the safety risk posed by broken limbs and debris. This work showed the payoff following the recent high winds seen at the beginning of November that greatly reduced the cleanup and allowed mowers to quickly return to the course. The GAC would also like to extend a special thank you to our board liaison, Randy Robbins, for his active involvement in our committee. Randy not only contributes in GAC meetings, but actively participates in our monthly golf course maintenance inspections. This makes our job much easier since the board is well informed beyond reading recommendation or reviewing reserve schedules. This level of involvement provides the insight into the requirements needed to keep our golf courses in the conditions that residents expect. Again, thank you, Randy, for your contributions to our community and, more importantly, your commitment to the GAC and golf operations.
Thank you. Library Committee? Lifestyles Advisory Committee?
Sorry, Mr. President, I have libraries here. The Beaumont Library on Friday, November 15th presented to our Sun Lakes community information on digital resources and how we can access various websites using our computers and smartphones. The event was well received by our residents. The majority of our new books have arrived, along with new puzzles and audiobooks. Display of these items will be set up soon in all libraries. The Library Committee is still in need of volunteers and committee members for 2025. If anybody is interested, please contact Peter Fernandez, the library chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Lifestyles Advisory Committee? Marketing Committee?
Good afternoon, Master Board. Michelle Walter, Marketing Committee Advisory. We haven't had a meeting since November 4th due to vacations, but on November 4th, we discussed ways again to help our Restaurant and Lounge Committee market Monday Night Football. We haven't had a very good turnout, but we're still hoping, we're still trying, and I know Marcia and Debbie are really trying to do the best to get this going. We will continue to advertise and have trivia from Tom Kahili. We are putting surveys on hold for right now. After the new year, Jerry Blodgett will be working on a new survey for the Sandwich Restaurant and Lounge. We will also be working on a coupon book for the entire community, not just the homeowners. The grand opening of the new lounge was a huge success. I'm so proud of it, and we are glad to see our residents enjoying this new beautiful venue. Our next welcome home will not be until January 23rd, and we will be trying something a little different this time. The following are the stat home sales in Sun Lakes from November 1st through November 20th. Active or coming soon, 53. 5 condos, prices from $358 to $378. 48 homes, prices from $313 to $589. In escrow, no condos, 26 homes, prices from $344,900 to $565. Closed escrows were only 9. No homes. 9 homes, prices from $340 to $475. Out of our 7 new homeowner survey cards show that 7 said golf was important. That's why they came here. 7 said a restaurant on site was very important. 4 were still working. Our next meeting is on December 10th at 1 o'clock in admin. We had been going every 2 weeks, but we're trying to take a little bit of a breather. So our next meeting is not till December 10th. If anyone is interested in being part of the marketing committee, please fill out a volunteer interest form and return it to Tammy Morgan. Thank you.
Thank you. Master Architectural Committee?
Good afternoon, Master Board and members of Sun Lakes. My name is Roy Neerman. I'm chairman of the Master Architectural Committee. Just thought I might tell you what we've done so far this year. As of November the 20th, the MAC has reviewed 1,367 applications. We have 2 more meetings to go, so we'll have reviewed over 1,500 applications for the year. Of those 1,367 applications we have already reviewed, we've denied 163 applications. And these denials were a result of using non-approved paint colors, incomplete applications, security motion lights or cameras that invaded the privacy of neighbors, moving air conditioners that interfered with neighbors, are attempting improvements that were a violation of the CC&Rs and architectural rules. 930 of our applications involve painting, trim, stucco, garage doors. 81 of the applications concerned replacing patio covers or installing new aluminum wood patio covers. 173 of the applications were for landscaping. 118 applications were what we call miscellaneous, such as flagpoles, relocating air conditioners, solar electricities, gazebos, fence replacement, motion security lights, or Ring doorbell cameras. 84 items concern violations of the CC&Rs or the architectural rules or resulted from escrow inspections. We also conducted 29 hearings, and this were as a result of people requesting a rehearing on MAC decisions or for violations of the CC&Rs. It's been a very busy year for us. We have a very great committee, and I'd like to thank them for serving on this committee. And it's been my privilege to work with all the members of the MAC committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Recreation Advisory Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm here with the fun things that we're going to be doing for December. We have December 2nd, our district tree lighting at 5 p.m., and we'll have hot cider, hot chocolate, and cookies and holiday entertainment here in the main clubhouse. We have our holiday outdoor decorating contest, and you may register at the front desk. The deadline is December the 5th. The judging will be conducted by the Recreation Committee the week of December the 9th. There will be awards and prizes for first, second, and third place winners. And our winners will be announced at the Monday Night Football, December the 16th in the Sandwich. December 13th, we have our holiday golf cart parade. First time that we're having this. It will begin at 5 p.m. in front of the main ballroom. You may register at the reception desk. The deadline to register is December the 9th, and we hope to take that parade through the north side as well. December 31st, we have our annual New Year's Eve celebration party. I urge you to get your applications and fill out your, put in your checks with those that you want to spend the evening with. We will be a lottery. The lottery drawing will be held on December the 9th at 9:30 a.m. here in the main clubhouse. You must be present, and space is limited to 280 folks, and the limit is 4 per household only. More information will be coming out as to the menu. Any questions? Good.
Thank you. Next is RV storage.
I have a report for them, Mr. President. Yesterday, we had our committee meeting and mainly discussed the new leases and procedures for stickering the RV lot. We received a community update from Don Day that was very informative. It has been reported by administration that all new leases have been mailed out and are due December 15th. Make sure you meet the deadlines for returning leases and payments. Don't risk the possibility of your lease being canceled and RV being removed. New stickering of the RV lot is January 6th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. with an additional date of January 13th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. as well. Please, if possible, have your RV in the lot on those dates. For those who have additional vehicles registered in the lot, come by on those dates for stickering as well. Any lease not returned or paid by due dates will not be stickered. Our lot is still 100% full. If you need a spot, make sure you get on our waiting list with McKenna in the administration office. That's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Restaurant and lounge. Marcia.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, as everybody knows, the lounge is open, and comments from our members have been pretty positive. There are a few things that do need some attention, one being the loudness when the lounge is full. So an acoustics expert is scheduled to come out this week and make recommendations to add some sound-absorbing panels to reduce the noise factor. It is great to see everyone back out in our beautiful expanded and updated lounge, enjoying and socializing with each other. So now we have 3 venues for your enjoyment. The lounge is basically open all day. The Sandwich Bar and Grill is open for lunch during the week from 11 to 3 and 9 to 3 on the weekends, as well as special sporting events such as Monday Night Football. The restaurant is open on Friday and Saturdays for a fine dining experience with a special menu created by our chef, Joshua Steves, and it's found on the website each week as well as an email blast. So each week we'll have a different menu, and this week looks really good. Reservations for the restaurants are highly recommended since it's only the 2 nights. So, and then some of you have asked why all 3 aren't open every day. If each venue was full of members and their guests throughout the week, it would really be a simple task to staff all 3 to meet the needs of our community. However, without your patronage, it's not a good business decision to keep staff in place to cater to an empty venue. Trying to stay within the budget put out each year by the board can be a balancing act to manage the staffing needs of our 3 venues. The lounge has always been a gathering place for our members, and it makes sense to focus on staffing that particular place each day from 11 to 8 and until 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Each venue has its own menu, and Chef Josh and staff have been very creative in what is being served in the different locations. Michelle brought it up, and Monday Night Football in the Sandwich Bar and Grill is really sparsely attended. It's hard to watch when we have so much fun in there. It would be great to see a full house each week for the remainder of the season. Football trivia is fun and at halftime, and the winner gets a $25 gift card. So come on out and enjoy the fun with your friends and try your luck with trivia. The Thanksgiving feast has been sold out for a while. It looks to be a wonderful meal, even if you ordered yours to go. With that, our committee wishes you all a very happy holiday season. We look forward to December with the food and beverage department being quite busy with the many banquets scheduled for many of our Sun Lakes districts, clubs, and groups. And last but not least, be safe if you are traveling anytime during the holidays. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Safety Advisory Committee, Mike?
Good afternoon, everybody. Sun Lakers, the board, management. My name is Michael Voles. I'm chairman of the Safety Advisory Committee. Personal safety and property protection are the concerns of every resident here at Sun Lakes. In keeping with this, Securitas has concentrated on making improvements in resident safety awareness. There are some areas of concern. Number one, unauthorized vehicle access. Securitas cameras have identified an increase in vehicles attempting unauthorized access through the community resident gates. These events tend to peak during late evening hours from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. Drivers of vehicles are attempting to closely follow residents through the gates, and in response, Securitas closely monitors gate entry points through closed-circuit TV at the gates, advising officers to remain watchful during these shifts with the higher vehicular traffic. Gate timers have been adjusted to make sure the gate arms come down immediately after a vehicle enters the gate. The goal, of course, is to reduce opportunities for tailgaters to gain entry. Number two, there's increased nighttime activity around common areas. In the past month, there has been a significant rise in foot traffic around community common areas during late night hours, particularly on weekends near the fitness area and the main pool area. While these are primarily residents or guests of residents, security is working to ensure proper after-hour access restrictions. Securitas has initiated more frequent patrols in these areas at night and is closely monitoring them to prevent unauthorized gatherings or disturbances that could be a problem. I know we've all heard this many times, but each and every one of us must be vigilant and aware of our surroundings. We can't take anything for granted anymore. Securitas is making resident awareness a priority with a huge focus on personal safety and property protection. This includes encouraging residents to close garage doors, locking up vehicles, locking your doors and windows when you're away from your home, and reporting any attended belongings in common areas. If you see something, say something. If you suspect suspicious activity, first call Banning Police Department, then call local security here. We wish everybody a happy and safe holiday season. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda. First Service, read that for us.
There are two items on tonight's consent agenda, the resolution to record lien, as well as a committee resignation. So on the liens, I'll read those off to you. Let's begin with the following accounts have reached the level per the delinquency policy that necessitate a lien to be recorded on the property for the delinquent amount of assessments. The following accounts, if the board approves this, will proceed to lien status. The accounts are 1482-01, 2535-02, 3201-01, 1323-02, 1340-01, 2025-01, 2572-02, and 2753-01. The other is a list of resignations from the Procurement Advisory Committee. Those names are hold on, oops. Let me get that. Actually, the email came through from Bob Hicks for the Procurement Advisory Committee has chosen to resign. Those are on the consent agenda for the board to approve.
Thank you. Any board member wish to pull any item from the consent agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is the financial report for October. Our treasurer will be presenting that.
I'm Gary Burkle, Sun Lakes Treasurer, and I'm here today to give you the Treasury report on the October financial statements. But before I do that, before I get into the financial information, I just wanted to cover a quick subject first. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to see this thing, but, and this may be the last open board meeting of 2024, so there's something just I wanted to cover real quick. When I ran for the board, I had no idea how much work this was going to be. This is more than a part-time job. Being on the board is like running a small city. But I'm not talking about myself or feeling sorry for myself or sorry for the decision I made. But I want to take the opportunity to thank these four people up here. They have all been in this community. Did I say this? I moved here in September 2021. All of these people have been involved in this community far longer than me. Even Don Day, who just came on the board in April, was involved in the community in many ways, in financial issues. Beverly has been involved in charity. She's been on the board for a long time. And for me, it's been a great opportunity to learn from these people. Bob has done a great job in organizing our meetings, organizing our agenda. He's a penny pincher, so he makes sure that we get a benefit for every dollar we spend. And I don't know, I can't even begin to say how much Randy has done for our community. So I just wanted to thank all of those. I mean, this board deals with, this morning we dealt with a Securitas contract that's $1 million contract. We looked at a street paving contract, and this is a contract that comes up every year that we deal with. We are looking in 2025 early at the Spectrum contract, which obviously affects all of our residents. So I'm going to just want to cover, the kind of things that got put in place by this board this year. The Reserve Replenishment Replacement Fund, which so far this year, and it only got started mid-year, has already raised over $113,000 for our community. Excuse me. We work with the management company, but we also keep pressure on them to try and meet the budget. So, to keep our HOA dues in place. The lounge expansion, it was a major project. It came in on budget, and I think you should all, if you haven't visited the lounge, you should go take a look at it. It's beautiful. We refreshed the swimming pools. The common areas have been maintained. The golf course has been maintained. As Mike said, Randy's been very helpful with the golf committee, making sure that our golf courses are kept beautiful. We've held the line on the 2025 budget, 5.5% with inflation, with the challenges with our amenities. It's our HOA is still a very reasonable amount, especially when you consider the internet and TV service. We are right now, because food and beverage is a challenge, we're in the middle of, we had an RFP go out, and we're looking at, we met with one vendor, and we're meeting another vendor on Friday to look at what they might offer our community. These are just a summary of, so anyway, getting back into the financial information, October actually had income, but because we moved up this meeting, I and the FAC has only had a short time to look at the financial statements for October. And there were a lot of adjustments in October that Chris talked about. We ended up with a negative cost of water. Our water bill turned out to be negative, which is kind of a surprise. There were some adjustments to move monies from the operating fund to the reserve fund. So we need more time to review, but these are the highlights. We had an actual income in October of $235,622. But we still have a loss to date of $427,379. At the end of October, the cash in the operating fund was $386,400. And our outstanding bills were $1,401,889. Our bills exceeded our assets available to pay bills by $501,000. And we ended the month owing First Service $764,282. So as you can see, this is comparing 2022, 2023 to 2024. And through October of 2022, we had a surplus of $52,106. Through October of 2023, we had a surplus of $150,694. And through October of this year, we have a loss of $427,379. And this is just a graphic showing how the difference between our receivables and cash available to pay bills compared to the actual bills. So as you can see at the end of October, we had $899,936 in cash and receivables. Those are the monies that we do have available to pay bills, and our actual bills were $1,401,000. So it results in what's called a current ratio of 0.64. We really should be at like 1.5, where our receivables and cash exceed the bills. And really, to do that, we would need over $2 million in cash and receivables. I don't know, you probably can't see this. Chris sort of covered all of this. At the end, through the end of October, food and beverage, or actually in October, food and beverage had a loss of $86,000. Year to date, we have a loss of $731,000, and food and beverage is over budget by $386,000 year to date. On the other hand, golf had a positive income in October of $27,000, and golf is within budget by $147,000 year to date. This is just a summary of our reserve and replacement fund in October and through the end of October. You can see there that we put $220,000 a month into the reserve fund, and the reserve fund replenishment income, like I said, so far, even though it only started partway through the year, is $113,880. And investment income, because interest rates obviously have been a little bit higher or somewhat higher, and also, you know, we've been working with the representative from First Service or First Service Investment Company to improve our performance. So our income in the replacement fund year to date is $401,895, which is probably at least double what it was last year. Expenditures so far, $2,537,451. We have $12,031,000 in cash in the reserve fund, actually our budgeted expenditures are $3.8 million. So we're under budget so far this year for the annual expenditures. As always, my name is Gary Burkle. If you have any questions, you can, my email's in the Lifestyles magazine, my phone number's there. Feel free to give me a call if you have a question. Thank you.
Thank you. Need a motion to review and file the October financial report?
Mr. President, permission to be recognized for discussion?
Yes.
So I apologize for bringing this up at this time, but we really haven't had any opportunity to discuss the October financials as required by David Sterling due to the timing of this month's board meeting being held early. As Gary mentioned, the Finance Committee just met today with the finances for the first time. And before we vote to receive and file, there have been many questions in this month's report. You touched base on some of those. As an example, the irrigation water was a minus number, minus $57,000. That's $146,000 lower than 2023 actuals and the budget for this year. So that raises a question. And there were other adjustments that were made. 4 adjustments to compensated absence adjustments totaled $126,000 lower than budget. Management's reporting October net profit of the $235,000, as Gary mentioned. The 2 reporting questionable accounts that we just discussed contributed $272,000 to the favorable $235,000 profit. Basically, we have some questions about how the variances occurred from prior months to this month. In addition, there were reporting errors of $55,000, and the restaurant food cost was actually higher than the sales. We're used to seeing labor in excess of restaurant sales, but I don't believe we've ever seen restaurant food cost higher than sales. This really isn't the place to sort out these questions, and I request that we vote to postpone approval to receive and file this report until management has had time to explain all the October variances to the board. And that would be a motion that I would request we discuss and postpone the receive and file.
I'll second that motion. I think the fact that we just received the reports today, at least I did, and not everybody has had the opportunity to review them, I think it's a logical request to review them and then review and file at our next session.
So I have a comment on that. I always get a little confused. Are we receiving and filing, which means we then can review once we receive? Or are we stating that we have actually reviewed and filed? Because we interchange those words. I was under the impression that what we are doing here is just receiving the reports and filing them. But if I'm wrong, please correct me on that. If I'm right, please let people know. Okay, so that is what we're doing, is receiving and filing. So if...
I'm reading from the agenda. The agenda said review and file October.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, because we do tend to interchange those words. So I guess I just need some clarity on that. If we are just receiving, that means we can move forward and receive them and then take the time to review them, because you're absolutely right, we just got them today.
Well, my only hesitation is that we haven't had much time because the meeting was moved up. I understand maybe, I guess I would have to look at what our bylaws call for, but what I do know is that we do have a limited time based on our agreement or contract with the management company to review the financial statements. And I feel like since we haven't had them, we just got them Wednesday or Thursday of last week, that we need more time to review them. So as long as, I guess it's in our minute, excuse me, the minutes reflect that we need additional time to review them, I'm fine with receiving and filing, but with the caveat that we're still reviewing these statements and we haven't accepted them at this point.
And that makes sense to me. Your report today, though, was on the October financials, correct? And that's what we're being asked to receive and file. So you've at least looked at them enough to give us this report. So I know we have a motion on the table with the second, so we have to either.
Beverly, though, yes, I agree with what you said, but I do have the questions.
Mhm.
Some of the entries, I'm not saying that the entries are wrong. I'm just saying
Sure.
that I need more time to review
Oh,
them, or
and I
as
agree
a
with-
board, we should take
And
more
I agree
time.
with that. I'm just saying
So-
we now have a motion on the table to wait and not receive and file with a second. So we need to either rescind that motion or we need to vote on that motion.
What is the purpose of receiving and filing?
Gives it to us so we can review them? I'm not sure.
Well, we could do that right now. We have the financials. It doesn't seem to make sense to receive and file something when we have questions on it.
It is the official action of the email that was sent last week by the corporate accounting team at First Service. This is the official recognition of receiving and that acknowledging that you've received the financials. You may have questions on it, that's fine. And we did talk about that during executive session about the questions. But this is the official recognizing, yes, they have been officially received. It's a requirement under Davis Sterling that there is that official acknowledgement in open session. That's what this process is, that you did receive it. You received it by the contractual date of the 10th of this month. And this is the official open session process of recognizing and receiving and filing it. It's already been issued out to the community, to the board, to the committees. It's simply an administrative function.
So basically, we could receive and file and review it, because
Correct.
not all of us have
Correct, because if
reviewed
there
it.
were corrections in that,
So
those would not be done and
yeah.
processed until November.
Why don't we do that, if you want to change your...
Yeah, I'd like to
your motion?
modify my motion. I agree that we should receive and file the financials for October, but I would like to schedule a detailed financial review in executive session and resolve all the questions that the board has that have already been identified and some we haven't talked about.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the committee committee member appointments for the Lifestyles Advisory Committee. Management received a recommendation from the chairperson of Lifestyles Advisory Committee to appoint the following members to the committee. Their term will begin January 1st, 2025, and conclude December 31st, 2027. Carlotta Beeks, Linda Green, Marcia Gold, Shirley Hagee, Betty Jo Nick, and Robin Warner. Need a motion in reference to that?
I'll second.
Any comments from the board or membership? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is the Recreation Advisory Committee. Management received an email from the chairperson of the Rec Committee to appoint the following members to the committee. Their terms will begin January 1st, 2025, and conclude on December 31st, 2027. Kathy Hamby, Evelyn Hawkins, Bobby Kramer, Gloria Pena, Marty Stegel, and Debbie Walters. Need a motion in reference to that?
I so move.
I'll second.
Any comments from the board or membership? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes 5-0. Management received an email from the chairperson of the Golf Advisory Committee to appoint Michelle Walter to the committee. She will replace Judy Jones as a representative for the Lady Niners. Her term will begin January 1st, 2025, and conclude on December 31st, 2025. Any comments from the board?
I move approval.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes 5-0. Next is Library Advisory Committee. Received an email from the chair of the Library Advisory Committee to appoint the following members to the committee. Their terms will begin January 1st, 2025, conclude December 31st, 2026. John Hasha and Diana Wee. Need a motion in reference to those?
I so move.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next, committee member appointments, Restaurant and Lounge Advisory Committee. received the recommendation from the chair of the Restaurant and Lounge Advisory Committee to appoint the following members to the committee. Terms begin January 1st, 2025, and conclude December 31st, 2026. Charlie Beeks, Marcia Midget, Lee Stone, and Jamie Taylor. Need a motion in reference to those? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next, Common Area Advisory Committee. Management received a recommendation from the chair of the Common Advisory Committee to appoint the following members to the committee. Terms begin January 1st, 2025, conclude December 31st, 2026. The members are Marcy Tierney, Sandy Russell, and Doug Schwenson. Need a motion in reference to them?
I so move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes
Aye.
5-0.
You beat me.
Next is the approval of the recreation calendar. Recreation team and the assistant general manager developed a rec calendar for 2025. The board will need to approve or deny the attached calendar. Need a motion on that?
I move approval.
I'll second that. Any comments from the board or membership? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next, Library Advisory Committee. Management received. Golf calendar. We forgot
Back
about
up the
Mike.
bus.
Okay. Director of Golf, David Goldstein, developed the golf calendar for 2025. The board will need to approve or deny the attached calendar. Need a motion in reference to the golf calendar.
I move to approve.
I second.
Any comments from the board or membership? All in favor? Aye.
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 Passes 5-0. Now, Library Advisory Committee. Received the email from the chair of the committee requesting the board add another bookcase to the South Clubhouse Library. The committee anticipates more books being added at that clubhouse. They also will be adding another category of books. The cost has not been researched. In the past, additional bookcases have not been very expensive. Need a motion in reference to them?
I move we direct management to work with the Library Advisory Committee to add an additional bookcase.
I'll second that. Any comments from board or membership? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is the Recreation Advisory sending a recommendation to approve a new group at Sun Lakes. The proposed group is called the Sun Lakes Chess Club. This group will be made up of residents who want to get together and play chess. Their room request does not interfere with any other clubs or groups. They do have the required 25 members. Need a motion in reference to that request.
I move to approve the chess club.
I'll second that. Any comments from the membership or the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Now that we have all the committees full, next is the homeowner comments. Now, make sure that your homeowner comments are within the 3-minute time period, and be appropriate and respectful in your comments, please. Michelle Walter, Community Awareness.
Good afternoon, board, residents. Michelle Walter, Community Awareness. I want to let you tell you that I'm really excited about having a new project here in Banning. Ruben Gonzalez has taken over the Blue Zone project, and it's coming to Banning. The city council approved it, and I'm so excited that they did. So just a little bit of a background. To become a Blue Zone city in California, a community needs to apply to the Blue Zones project, demonstrating a commitment to implementing policies and initiatives that promote healthy lifestyle choices across the city, including factors like access to healthy food, active transportation, strong social connections, and stress management. A blue zone is a geographical region in the world where people are claimed to have exceptionally long lives beyond the age of 80 due to lifestyle combining physical activity, low stress, rich social interactions, a local whole foods diet, and low disease incidence. The actual 5 blue zone communities are Sardinia, Italy, Okinawa, Japan, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, and Loma Linda, California. A Blue Zone project is a community-based initiative that aims to implement policies and lifestyle changes for healthier living. The 3 Blue Zone city projects in California are Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, and now Banning, California. It's so exciting for our city to become a part of this Blue Zone project. I hope you will all join the Community Awareness Program on January 7th at 1 o'clock to hear more about this wonderful project and possibly volunteer to help Ruben and his team implement this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken Johnson?
Master Board, FSR Management, residents, Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive, 22-year resident of the community. I thought I'd do a little bit of year-end several constructive feedback items that I have for your consideration as you guys meet, executive meeting, and get ready for the end of the year. We walked away from the cash flow issue from my perspective. I didn't see anything in the budget nor in presentations today to help us recover our $700K, and I think that we need to look at that. Maybe we should have had a special assessment, or we should have raised our homeowners association to cover our cash flow. Significant, didn't get covered. When you talk of budget performance, I hope that we could come up with some ways to put some teeth into it, and there's actual objectives. Maybe if the FSR doesn't meet the budget, we don't pay part of their bill. If they exceed the budget, they get more money from us. Just throwing something out there to get some thought process into how you measure performance. I hope that the acoustics in the lounge that you said is approved, that you're going to move forward with, but I think you need to look for acoustics in the restaurant and definitely in the sandwich. I think that's why you're getting low turnout. So the money that you saved, the budget, please spend it accordingly. Championship Golf Course has been a problem. Irrigation, it's horrible. I've lost and increased my golf ball budget based on maintenance in the line, and I just think I've not enjoyed Championship Golf Course, and I've been here for some time, and it needs to be looked at in the replacement and setting. Food and budget, RFP, I sure hope it's structured that to meet our needs, and you're able to look at viable alternatives, and that they can actually get us a balance that would be good to go outside. It's always easy to look on the other side of something that's there, but if you don't structure it correctly, that could become a problem later on. The house accounts, we made changes, golf tournaments. I think the alternatives, the workarounds is not a good alternative. I think you ought to be looking at the way you did the tournaments and make it a little bit easier to keep the script inside the usage, because I think people doing credit cards and giving checks, and we're going to be bringing them all the months and the clubs, it's not necessarily the best way of doing the alternative that you come up with. Finally, OPA. We had this governance model, thought it was going to be implemented, and I haven't heard of it. I hope the money just didn't go down the drain and we're never going to do anything. So, finally, Sun Lakes Country Club, I consider to be an active adult community and a country club. I'm getting a little tired, and as one news guy said, I'm just frustrated. I don't understand why we can't do stuff, because today it looks like we're trying to move towards a senior community that once had a golf course. Thank you, and have a great holiday, everybody.
Lori Gawley. Laurie Gawley.
For allowing me to speak. I just wanted to comment about your beautiful display case out here. I love seeing the beautiful artwork that you have out there all the time. It's such a blessing when I come in with my husband, because we're always out there going for a walk. He can't go out to golf anymore because of his health, but we get to walk out here and it's beautiful. And that display case out there has so many beautiful pieces of artwork I just really, truly enjoy. And I just wanted to let you know that I was very saddened to see that one of your pieces out there that was very inspiring to us was no longer there. And I just wanted to show it to you, if I may. It was beautiful. It was very beautiful, this piece of art, and it has a light of God. His hand is shining, and it makes me feel like God is shining on all of us when I see this picture. And so I just wanted to let you know that I was very saddened that it was no longer there. We came in every day, as we always do, and it was there for several weeks, but then all of a sudden it was no longer. And like I said, the hand of God is shining on all of us, and this picture is very inspirational, and it should be there for all to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Suzanne Strauss.
Good afternoon, board members and Sun Lakers. I am Suzanne Strauss, a 20-year resident of Sun Lakes, and I am here with some of the Art League members and other supporters to support Susan Van Loon regarding her artwork that she took out of the Art League showcase last week due to some negative comments. The removal of her own artwork, unbeknownst to her, is in direct violation of Article 19 of our First Amendment rights that states that all artwork is covered as part of our freedom of expression, and it cannot be tampered with. Therefore, we will be returning her artwork to the Art League showcase after this meeting.
Micheline Peace, P-E-A-S-E. Judy Grant.
Hello, I'm a member of the Sun Lakes Art League, an art history graduate, and a libertarian, and I have no religion affiliation. And I would like to share a paragraph from an art education magazine that I read, and of course it disappeared. Okay. The individual has the right to accept or reject any work of art for himself or herself personally, but he does not have the right to suppress those works of art to which he or she may object, or those artists with whom he or she does not agree. The free individual and the free society do not need a censor to tell what should be acceptable or unacceptable, and should not tolerate such censorship. All censorship is contrary to democratic principles. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Grabler.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Linda Grabler. I've been here 7 years. I have served on 3 committees. I am the vice president of the Art League Committee. I am very proud of every artist in this Art League. You don't know how hard we work, how much of ourselves we put into our work. No 2 artists do the same type of work, but we put ourselves into our work. We are dedicated. We are friends. We are family. We are community. We're community. We're Sun Lakers. Is this not what Sun Lakes is about? friends, community? Or why are we here? And we are to be kind. Where is the word kindness in this, people? It's in every time we see a lifestyles. Be kind. Come on, people. Yes, Susan's picture will be put back in the case. Thank you for coming.
Diane Bailey? Burley?
Okay, well, first of all, I have to admit I didn't do my homework, and I'm not sure, but I am under the impression that the CCNRs prohibit display of political material in common areas. Am I correct about that?
Yes.
Okay. Second, I want to give, excuse me, I do have a right to speak, okay? Second, the First Amendment does not cover speech in private areas. Okay, so if, and by the way, for what it was, I thought the picture was well done. And yes, I'm a Democrat, and yes, I voted for Harris, but I find it, please don't preach.
Please don't interrupt.
Please don't preach
Be
at me.
respectful
I'm
to
also
the people that were
Jewish,
respectful to
okay?
you.
So the thing is that I don't ever remember, anyway, excuse me, I lost my train of thought. The First Amendment does not protect speech in private areas, on private property. There's a whole line of case law from the Supreme Court on it. So if you're claiming that the First Amendment gives you the right to display the art in a common area of a private country club, the answer is it does not. It does not support it. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is, and I'm just saying this as a Sun Lakes resident, about a third of the people in this community are Democrats. I'm assuming there's some independents, and there's a significant percentage that did not vote for Donald Trump. Okay? And it feels to me like when you display that, you are rubbing my face in the loss. It's very, I mean, I don't object to artwork, but it feels, why are you talking back? You have your turn. You can come up and talk when I'm finished, okay? Okay, so why would you want to display something like that that upsets a third of the people in this community? It seems to me, I have many, many friends who have different political views. Sometimes we just agree not to talk about it. This is a community where we should be seeking harmony and oneness and support, and I get that from friends from all sides of the aisle. But when you post something like that, it's like you're rubbing your faces in us. And it's painful and it's hurtful, and we're fine with agreeing to disagree, but I think it qualifies as political speech. Okay, I think it qualifies as political speech.
Thank you very much. Virginia Cervantes?
Hello, everybody. Good to see our board. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for having the Northside waterfalls look as great as these waterfalls. Remember, we will never be the stepchild, okay? And thank you for having the Christmas golf cart show, go on the north side. We don't get much, but what we do, I love it here. I've been here 12 years, and I'm usually never political. I'm righteous. That's what I am. I've been against hate for a long time. I speak against hate in council members at the city because I don't like the hate that goes on or anything like that, and that's my prerogative. When I moved here 12 years ago, many people asked me or told me, did you realize that maids or caregivers are not supposed to use a gym? Did you realize that you people are not supposed to use the pool? Did you realize that there's not many of you here, so how did you find this place? That was degrading, and that came from those people that support hate. I don't hate anybody. I never have as a child. Being a little brown girl in an all-white neighborhood in Chicago, I learned hate from them, and I never hated back, and I still don't hate anybody. No matter what color of skin you have, you're just as beautiful as I am, and we are still God's children, all of us, and I believe in my precious God. I have him in my heart, and I have to get him to always tell me to shut up to people that throw out hate, and he tends to do that, thank God. I live in the most beautiful place in the world, and I deserve this, and my husband do too. And for this beautiful neighborhood becoming more diversified, it's awesome. It is awesome and it's beautiful. And thank you, board members, and for the administration for always listening to people that have to go through this all the time, even the newcomers. Please, let's all get along here. We're all here because we deserve to be here. No matter financially, racially, religiously, we all belong here. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Hoyt?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to express my... Can you hear me now? Okay. I first want to thank the leadership of Sun Lakes for having the painting in question removed from the display case. Whenever I'm in the clubhouse, I always check out the art that's on display. I enjoy seeing the talent and creativity of our residents, and it puts a smile on my face, until last week. The painting that appeared in the case was a representation of the yard signs displayed throughout the community during the election cycle. I didn't care for them then, but at least everyone had the same opportunity to post their own signs expressing their point of view. That's not the case now. In accordance with our community rules, all signs and flags can no longer be displayed. The exception is the painting in question. How can it be justified to have a painting of a yard sign in the common area if no one else is entitled to that same privilege? So the question is, why is that painting a problem? If I painted a picture of that person dressed as a circus clown, would that be okay? If I painted him in a Nazi uniform, would that be okay to display here? And if I painted him in a white robe, holding a hood in one hand and a torch in the other hand, would that be okay? Okay, my answer is no. It would not be okay. And why? Because those images breed divisiveness, anger, and animosity among neighbors. We're all neighbors here. You know, it creates a climate that fosters contempt and disrespect for one another. That's not the kind of community I want to live in. And I hope that no one at Sun Lakes wants that to be how our community is. So I respectfully request that the board stand by its decision to have that painting, to not have that painting or others like it being displayed in any of our common areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Janice Rice.
Good afternoon, board, administration, and residents. And I am here, I'm Janice Rice, and I live on Paradise Highland Lane, and I'm here speaking on my own behalf. I do have opinions from others, but I am also a lover of art. My granddaughter is an artist, and my daughter is a literature artist. So it is important to me that we all respect each other's art. However, I do know the rule about the fact that the yard signs or political signs are not allowed in common areas. So therefore, this picture in that common area was really not the right place for it. And I'm going to say this with open heart. Not your God is my God. Everybody worships differently, and we need to stop using that as one of our ways of expressing ourselves. But more than that, this image of an attempted assassination reflects violence in a moment in our history. It's scary, it's disturbing, and people should not need to be reminded of guns and political violence that is taking place in our world today. Hate is horrible, and it's all over the place right now. You cannot turn on the TV without seeing hate. And this is what it reflects to me. When I saw it in this cabinet, I was appalled. I do not want to see it in that cabinet, and I am also respectingly asking that the board does not let it go back up. Thank you.
Any other comments on this issue? Yes, please come up.
My name is Darlene Moxon. I did not plan to speak today, but I feel I must. We've had a very long election with a lot of anger between neighbors, between families, and I hate to see it go on. I don't know about all the legalities, but the attorney over here, I believe what she said, Diane, and I just feel that it was in poor taste. Susan did a beautiful replica, and I told her that. But now is not the time or the place. All it is doing is making people more angry again, continuing, and I have just witnessed it right now in this audience with the two different opinions. So I hope you will all just think about that. There's a time and a place for everything. You know, put that picture in a museum. But I don't think this is the proper time or the place. It's only going to fuel the fire between anger and the neighbors and friends and maybe families. Please think about it.
Thank you. Any other comments on this issue?
Hello. Hi, I'm Lee Stone. I just want to follow up a little bit. I'm hearing a lot of comments about neighbors and kindness and love and how we should be treating each other. And I agree with all of that, and I understand both sides. But if I painted a picture of a beautiful moon with stars in it, and half of my neighbors came up to me and said it upset them, I would take it out. I don't care what it is. I just think that we need to be respectful of each other. So that's my thought. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to finish up with a comment from myself that may shed some light on this situation. Basically, the board did not remove that painting. The painting was removed by the painter. So what happened is that I had received some complaints concerning that. I brought it to the attention of the um, the first service and said we should probably put this on the agenda and discuss it. You know, it's controversial. Later that same morning, I ran into Susan. Susan and her husband Steve are friends of mine. And she asked if I saw the painting. I said, I didn't see it, but I heard about it, you know, and she does excellent work. And, you know, I love, you know, all of her paintings. And I said, however, there was some controversy and, you know, some complaints. So she asked me, do you think I should take it down? And I said, it probably would be best. You know, but I didn't say that as the board member and say the board's telling you take it down. I just said that friend to friend. Probably would be best to not have a controversial situation like that. And her response was, okay, I will do that. And that's what happened. So it was basically a friend discussing a great piece of art and trying to avoid controversy like we're having here today. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. If there's no other comments, I would like to have comments from our board members. Gary? And I want to thank Gary for his kind comments on his treasurer's report. Don?
Well, first of all, sorry I wasn't with you last month. My wife and I were traveling on a bucket list destination to Egypt, and I can tell you it's awful good to be back in the United States of America and here at Sun Lakes. We have a wonderful community and a wonderful country, and it's great to be back. That being said, I'd also like to wish everybody the best in the holiday season. Be safe and do what you need to do with your family and have a good time. But in closing, I'd also like to touch base on a project that's being worked on. And on May 22nd, the board drafted a letter stating we'd be looking for different management for food and beverage operations options. And in July, a team was formed to develop an RFP for food and beverage. In September, the team was reconfigured to become a board team comprised of 2 board members and a member of the Finance Advisory Committee. A list of 13 potential management companies were identified and contacted. The list included traditional management companies, as well as companies that specialize only in food and beverage hospitality. Out of the 13 vendors that were contacted, only 3 were interested in even receiving a proposal for only food and beverage. RFPs, or as some might call RFIs, were submitted to all 3. And in October, we received proposals from 2 hospitality professional companies. Last week, the board received and sat through a presentation from one of the companies who brought 6 of their senior management staff from the company. And later this week, a presentation to the board by a second company will occur. We're well into the process of doing our due diligence for both, and we will keep you informed of how that is all going. So have a nice holiday and be good.
Thank you. Beverly? Beverly?
So I don't have too much to say. We're coming to the end of 2024, and it's been a great year. 2025 is going to be interesting. It's been my privilege, excuse me, my privilege to be a member of this board for this past year. I very much enjoy working with all of these guys, and I say that seriously, like Gary said. It's just really been great to work with each one because each of us brings something to this board that's unique and different. Granted, we've had our differences, our misunderstandings, but it takes a while for a new team to kind of come together. And I feel that that's happening with this team. We're beginning to gel. So I'm grateful for that happening and all the effort that all of us have been putting into doing that. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody here in the audience, out there in the ether watching this with a glass of wine on your sofa. Please enjoy this time with your friends and family and celebrate this holiday with gratitude. Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Now our Vice President, Randy Robin, has some important information he would like to share with us.
Couple things up. First, is it on?
You're on.
There
You
we
just
go.
have to talk into it.
A couple of things I want to say, first off, thank you, Gary, for the kind words. I've appreciated working with you as well, and the entire board. And now to my statement. On Sunday, November 17th, I submitted the following letter to Bob Walter, president of the Sun Lakes HOA. For both, for both personal and professional reasons, I'm sad to announce that I will be resigning my position as vice president and board member of Sun Lakes, effective December 31, 2024. I've had the privilege to represent the members of this amazing community, and I appreciate your tutelage. That was the letter I gave to Bob on Sunday. In accordance with California Corporations Code 7224, the Board of Directors will appoint an individual to fulfill the remainder of my term. The Board of Directors would ask anyone interested in being appointed for this position to submit a volunteer interest form at the administration office by the deadline of November 27th, which is a week from today. The board will interview all candidates. The board will be holding a special open session board meeting on Thursday, December 5th to select an individual to finish my term. Thank you, everybody, and happy holidays.
In conclusion, I want to thank Randy Robbins for everything he's done for our community. He's been my partner. He's been the vice president here for 4 years, has done an outstanding job. He organized and was the president of our Pass Action Group with the board members, some of them here tonight. And even though he wasn't in 100% health, he still was able to accomplish all of these things for our community. So I salute you and thank you for everything that you've done for us. Thank you, Randy Robbins. Meeting adjourned.